G'day folks, Ben from Sowies today with the Coleman Big Game C-12 sleeping bag.
Hit it.
This is a big, roomy and warm sleeping bag with a durable cotton outer, removable fleece liner. It's perfect for camping trips in the middle of winter. There's no hiding the fact that this is a bulky sleeping bag. This is how it comes packed up. You get a lot of warmth out of this. So it weighs about 6.5 kilos, 50 odd centimeters in length and about 40 centimeters in diameter, maybe a little bit bigger once you pack it back up. This has come straight from the factory. And when you've got it laid out, this is how it looks in front of us here. Now Coleman say 213 centimeters by about 102 centimeters. You can get to that if you really stretch it out. My measurements reasonably are about 200 centimeters by about 90 centimeters on the outside. Now it's made on the outside here with a 10-ounce poly cotton canvas, and this is kind of separate to the inner, so it's almost like a lining on the outside that's not actually sewn to the middle of the bag here, so the baffles aren't stitched through. Inside you've got a flannel lining which is actually stitched in the bag, and then you've got this removable fleece liner which I'll show you a bit more on shortly, and sandwiched in between that is a nice thick layer of Coltherm insulation. And this feels like a really thick bag. It feels super warm to lie inside of this bag here. You also get a pillow included with the kit here. This is just filled with probably the same insulation that's in the bag, so it's not much of a pillow. It's going to give you a soft spot to rest your head, but if you want a bit of support for your neck or a bit of height, you might want to upgrade that one. Now other features, there's a little pocket here on the outside just with a Velcro closure there, so you can keep your phone or your keys handy so you don't lose them at night. That's all in terms of storage, but as I mentioned, it does have this liner on the inside here, so I'm just going to unzip this slightly and show you the liner. It's not actually it's a blanket rather than a liner, so it's not a pocket that you would crawl into, and it's attached in the bag with just tabs on the corners here, so you can actually remove this liner and use the bag without the liner if you like. Liner has two benefits. It's going to warm the sleeping bag up a little bit. It also makes it easier to clean this liner than the whole bag. So these are attached through 3 points, one on that corner, one on the top corner here, and then one on the opposite side of the bag here. And that is attached again midway through the bag. So we've got another attachment point here, not on the other side here, but just on the end of the bag, so not in the middle. And then if we unzip all the way, now this is one continuous zipper right around the bottom of the bag here. So you get to the bottom where this liner is once again attached on this point in the middle of the bag there, and then at the top end. And as you can see, it's not enclosed at the foot end, it's just an extra layer inside the bag, so it is open here. But the benefit of that, well, even though you've got this open section with the liner here, this has actually got a box foot sort of design with the foot section here. So a lot of sleeping bags will come down to just a point like this at the end of the bag. This has actually got more of a box foot like this, which gives you your feet more space. You can see when this is done up, this sits up like a big box here. So it gives your feet a lot more space inside the bag, making it much warmer so your feet aren't jammed up against the end and creating a cold spot. Now, as I mentioned, this is one continuous zipper, it goes all the way. You can zip two bags together. You can zip a -6 big game or another -12. Doesn't really work perfectly. The -6 zips are a slightly different length, and if you were to zip another -12 bag on the opposite side of this kind of boxy section here is opposite to the boxy section that will be on this side. It will work, but don't expect them to kind of all line up and sit nice and flat. When you sort of if you make your bed, it's kind of going to sit a bit uneven. So as I mentioned, you can use it with or without this liner. Remove it if you don't want it. There's one continuous zip that runs right around the edge to secure everything together. Now, just the design of this bag makes it really efficient and warm. As I mentioned, this outside fabric here, it's not sewn through in the middle here. The only place it's attached to the bag is around the edges here. And then on the inside, beneath the lining here, the flannelette and the insulation inside here is stitched in place through sort of, there's S bends here, I suppose, that go right up and down the bag, and that holds the insulation in place against the flannelette. Now, a lot of basic bags or cool warmer weather bags, this stitching will be visible on the outside, which means the fabric is pinched together like this in each baffle. And that creates a shallow spot where the insulation is and a potential for warm air to escape. You're not going to notice it in average conditions, but in really cold conditions you might. This has got that on the layer underneath here. So this is pinched through here, but then you've got this extra canvas layer on the outside to help trap that warmth. So it's a really efficient design made for really cold weather. In terms of care, it's all machine washable. Now you're going to need a fairly big washing machine to be able to clean this guy here, but if you do have a big one, or you can get to a dry cleaner to give it a clean, then throw it in the washing machine and it's going to wash up pretty well. But the benefit of having this liner inside is that it's much easier to wash this liner than it is to wash the whole bag. So I use a liner all the time. General shape of the bag is square. We can see hasn't got a hood on the top here. It's square across the top, square right down to the bottom. It's the same width throughout. And as I mentioned, it does have that big roomy box foot section here. So I'm going to crawl inside the bag and describe to you how roomy it feels. Now I am 185 centimeters tall. So I should fit, given that this is, by my measurements, 200 centimeters, I should be able to crawl right in here with my head below this section here. So I'll jump in, and my feet, that box foot section, quite often with the pointy bags, you can feel your feet kind of get a bit jammed on the end. My feet are sitting upright there, and I've still got all of this space above my toes. So nice warm foot section there. I'll crawl right inside the bag, so I can get right inside with my head on top of the sleeping bag here, and my feet, I can feel them at the end, but I don't feel them tight against the end. I feel like I've got heaps of room for warm air to build up around my feet there. And in terms of width, I'll just do this up if I can, because I can feel I've got tons of shoulder space. I've got reasonably broad shoulders, but I can get my arms out quite comfortably here, so tons of room. So this feels really cozy. I feel like I've got lots of weight on top of me here. Common, I've got this comfort cuff around here, so the nice soft flannel is what will be against my neck or my face, and the canvas is down around the corner from that. If I use the pillow, as I mentioned, not a whole lot of height to that pillow there, but it gives a nice soft spot for my head to rest. So I feel myself getting warm in here already, and I've only been in here for a few minutes, but yeah, I'd certainly feel comfortable camping or sleeping in this sleeping bag in the depths of winter. Now, I didn't mention before the zip that Coleman use on most of those sleeping bags is the zip plow feature, which is this little red plastic tab here. That's designed to separate the fabric as you zip it up so that it doesn't get caught as you go. You can see it's separating the fabric underneath there. So still gets caught occasionally, but minimizes it and makes zipping up and undoing of the bag a whole lot easier. Now I'm going to show you how to pack the bag away. Now, most common sleeping bags have what they call their roll control feature. They don't have that on this bag, probably simply because it's so bulky. There's so much fill in it. Where the roll control feature would normally be as such that you'd fold it in half like this, you'd roll it up, and then they've got these tabs on the end here that you use to, if I do an example now, or very loose example, kind of roll this up. You can feel there's just so much fabric in here. I'm not going to make much effort here. You roll this up, and then you use these bits of material to wrap around the bag. This one will go around this way, this will go around the other way, and on the other side we join them together. Now it's going to be a wrestle to do that each time. Bearing in mind I made no effort at all on how to do that there. There is directions to how to do it, but my advice is just don't use them. Don't worry about it, and just stuff the sleeping bag in the bag, because most people who do it this way have a bit of a moment where they think, why have I not been doing that my entire life? So grab your stuff sack, start with the foot end of the bag, push it into the bottom. Now this is a bulky bag, so it's going to be a little bit of a wrestle to get it in, but just start punching it into the bag. Push it right down to the bottom, start with as best you can. Once you get to a point you've got a bit of it in there, stand up and put it between your legs. Pull this right up under your arm and just push it down into the bag. When you can, get the top in there as well. Give it a spin and stuff it in. Spin and just keep doing that, working your way around the bag, pushing it down inside. Now this gives an irregular sort of shape to the fill as it's packed into the bag, which is actually not a bad thing, because when it puffs up again, it doesn't sort of have a memory of being rolled up in a flat sheet. You get a bit more loft in the fill, but that went back inside there a whole lot easier than if I tried to roll it and then slide it in. You've then got these compression straps. You can pull up over the top. If you sit on top of that now to squash it down, because you've stuffed it in irregularly, that'll squash down even further. Do these up here, and you'll get it down as small as you can. But as I mentioned, it's not a small bag, it's a warm bag. But if you're camping in the middle of winter and you're a real cold frog, this is going to keep you warm. Super comfortable bag. That's the Coleman Big Game C-12. Perfect for camping in the middle of winter. You can check them out online at snowies.com.au, where you'll find them at our lowest prices every day. If you've got any questions, let us know down in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel for all of our latest information, or check out some other cool Coleman sleeping bags like these ones down here.